An arrest in a murder mystery, a case that went cold more than 40 years ago in Solano County. Tonight, the sheriff's office arrested 76-year-old Herman Hobbs.
A murder case in Solano County that had been unsolved for more than 40 years ended with an arrest. The sheriff's office arrested 76-year-old Herman Hobbs. Even though no one knew what her name was, the investigation seemed to be very hard. So, was this murder premeditated? Or was the victim in a bad situation? Hi and welcome back to Mysterious Cases 007. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the 43-year-old Jane Doe cold case, finally solved in 2023. Dixon is a rural community that was incorporated into Solano County in 1878. It is situated 20 miles from Sacramento and offers people a tranquil suburban lifestyle away from the hustle and bustle of a large city. Dixon was named after Dixon, Illinois, which was the county seat at the time of its incorporation. The sheep and dairy farms, as well as the alpha fields, have brought the town a great deal of notoriety. Dixon is also the site of two noteworthy events, the yearly Lambtown Festival and the May Fair, which has the distinction of being California's longest continuously running state fair. However, in 1980, the body of a young woman was discovered in a cornfield in Dixon, and this brought the town into the public eye. The murder jolted the sleepy farming hamlet, which caused panic to spread across the village. The event took place on August 3, 1980, in the middle of the summer season in the United States of America. During the process of clearing a field next to Severs Road, two people working in a cornfield discovered the body. They were so alarmed that they immediately informed their manager, who then contacted the authorities. The Solano County Sheriff's Office responded quickly and took control of the situation after securing the surrounding area. Since the victim, a young woman, had sustained several gunshot wounds, authorities decided to investigate the incident as a possible homicide. In spite of the investigators' best efforts, they were unable to find any identifying information or clues pertaining to the victim in the area. The interviews with possible witnesses produced no new information or leads. It was discovered that the young woman had been murdered in another location, and her body had been thrown in the cornfield because of its close proximity to the road. The body of the victim was taken to the county morgue so that a complete autopsy could be performed on her. The results of the autopsy revealed that the victim had been shot 6 times in the head and neck. There were no traces of sexual assault or wounds consistent with defensive fighting. The investigators looked at her fingerprints to see if there was a match in any of the databases they had access to, but their attempts were useless. She was ultimately given the name Dixon Jane Doe, and a composite profile was developed in order to assist with identification purposes. In spite of the fact that the information was made available to all of the local police stations and sheriff's offices, the investigation was shortly abandoned. The number of leads and tips drastically decreased. A cemetery in Solano County was chosen as the last resting place for Dixon Jane Doe 1 month after her remains was found. After 10 years, a significant development took place in the investigation. In 1992, Augustine and Sally Campilia reported their daughter, Holly, as missing. The National Missing Persons Unit has shared information on Holly's disappearance with the Solano County Sheriff's Office. In July of 1980, shortly after receiving a letter from Holly in which she stated her wish to cut ties with them, the Campilia family filed a missing person report for Holly. They believed she had run away. The letter's address, which turned out to be a forgery, was the first clue that something was off. Holly's parents did not realize that the initial missing person report that their family had filed had been removed from the national database 2 weeks after it had been submitted. The new information was input into the database, and the investigators sought DNA samples from the family so that they could make a comparison. Holly Ann Campilia was born in 1959, and she spent her childhood in the town of Cherry Hill in the state of New Jersey. Holly's 4 sisters were all very special to her, and she was known to be an optimistic and free-spirited person herself. However, during her final year of high school in 1976, she started having personal problems that included using drugs and having mental breakdowns. These problems continued for the rest of her life. She was able to overcome these obstacles in order to achieve academic success, and she attended Glassboro State College in order to earn a degree in visual arts. Holly's problems persisted, and she continued to run away from home on a regular basis. During the month of June 1980, when she was being driven to a treatment center, she had an outburst during which she attempted to open the car door and ultimately vanished. Her mother made the allegation that her daughter was missing as soon as she returned home. A month later, Holly allegedly wrote a letter to her family in which she claimed that she was cohabitating with two men and pleaded with her parents to stop looking for her. However, upon further investigation, the address that was listed in the letter was found to be incorrect. Holly's family, the Campilias, looked for her for many years, contacting Social Security and various other organizations that help locate missing people. They searched for her remains in California for a total of 12 years before finally finding them. In 1992, the body of Holly Ann was brought back to New Jersey for burial after having been cremated. It was a moment for her family that was fraught with mixed emotions because although they finally found closure, they missed the chance to be back together with her. When it became clear who the victim was, police collaborated closely with Holly Ann's family to find the answers they needed to solve her murder. However, because they lacked any recent knowledge, they had to begin from the very beginning. The investigation was once again fruitless, so the family focused their emphasis on developing methods that could be used in cold case investigations using modern technologies. In the year 2021, Holly Ann's sisters made contact with the Solano County Sheriff's Office and asked for a re-examination of the biological evidence that had been gathered from the murder scene, as well as Holly Ann's body. To our good fortune, the evidence had been carefully stored, which made it possible to do more sophisticated DNA testing. After doing the analysis, the Serological Research Institute found a DNA profile belonging to an unknown male foreigner on various pieces of evidence. The DNA profile was then transferred to the San Mateo Crime Lab, where a match was made with Herman Lee Hobbs, a guy who was already behind bars at the time of the investigation. Hobbs, a mechanic with a turbulent background, had previously been married and was involved in the usage of drugs as well as the production of methamphetamine. He also had a criminal record. A jury found him responsible for the attack of an Yuba County woman in the year 2000. After conducting additional research, the investigators were able to link Hobbs to a number of pending investigations. Evidence from the murders of Terry Potter, a girl of 13 years old who had been missing since 1975, and Brenda Ann Tucker, whose remains were found in 2000, matched his DNA. Brenda Ann Tucker's remains were discovered in 2000. When Hobbs's name was brought up in connection with Brenda's murder, he was already serving time for the murder of Terry. Another possible connection has surfaced between Hobbs and the disappearance of Jennifer Lynn Wallace in 1997. This time, it involves the year 1997. The investigators acquired an order to collect Hobbs' DNA and later verified a match with the male DNA profile that was discovered at the scene of the crime involving Holly Ann Campilia. After further investigation, Hobbs was arrested and charged with the commission of a murder. The Solano County Sheriff's Office would like to thank Holly Ann Campilia's family, as well as the investigators who worked on the case for their patience and cooperation in uncovering the mystery. Despite the fact that Holly's mother and sister were unable to learn the truth before their deaths, the resolve brings the family some measure of peace and resolution. The investigation into Hobbs and the other unsolved crimes is continuing, and the detectives are continuing to work along with various law enforcement organizations. Investigations into cold cases require perseverance and attention, as well as a commitment to provide answers to the families of victims, regardless of how much time it takes. The conclusion of the case involving Holly Ann Campilia, who was one of the victims of Herman Lee Hobbs' atrocities, may bring peace of mind to other families. The pursuit of justice continues, spurred by the need to unearth the truth and offer consolation to those who have been abandoned in its wake. What do you think about the situation we have today? Do you believe Herman Lee Hobbs may be linked to other unsolved crimes in the Yuba County region? Please let us know what you think in the space below, and always remember to stay safe. For more compelling tales like these, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel.